One must make the warrior walk, his walk, every day. Miyamoto Musashi. My friends, our warrior walk is to be involved in these charts, tracking them each and every day, learning, documenting, moving forward. What we do, I think, is very simple. And I've been doing it, of course, for many, many years. Each and every day, I'm here, and I ask you to be 10 to 15 minutes. That is all we ask. Let's jump into these charts. We see everything on our four big charts, the S&P 500, Nasdaq 100, 20-year bonds, and gold are up. Bitcoin down again. It's just getting hammered. Is Bitcoin going to go away? I hear the anti-Bitcoin people. I've heard them for years saying Bitcoin's a scam, this, that, and the other. What's going to happen to it? I don't know. I think it's probably going to bottom out somewhere and then move back up again. I don't look at Bitcoin as anything but something to trade. That's all I'm interested in. If I can track it and trade it, I'll think about buying it and selling it. I don't hold on to anything, my friends. It's not about buy and hold and lose. It is about buy, let it go up, sell it, win. That's what I'm all about. You don't have to believe what I believe. It's all up to you. Let's look at these charts. We see the S&P 500 up a little bit for the day, 1.43% after just a hammering down. I'm glad to see it moving back up because we already closed out our successful trade on the S&P down 3.27%. We took that chunk of change right there in our practice trade and we're happy with it. Did it go down further? Sure it did. But we used our average true range to help us calculate our loss span and then doubled that for our 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio. We captured it and we got out. It went down a little further and then popped back up. Didn't get greedy, took the money, ran in that practice trade. I'm waiting for things to move back up, the STC to go to green and then back to red again to let me jump in. You might say, Tom, if it goes to green, why wouldn't you jump in on an up trade? Because we're below the 200 EMA. Just one of the rules. If you're below the 200 EMA, what do you know? You know that you are on the short side of things. The trend is down. And in fact, it is very down. We see that we're in the red on the STC on the on the half-day chart. We are down on the 2-day chart. And I spoke a little too soon there. We are also down on the weekly. I started to throw the weekly in. I like to do it in order. Half-day, 2-day, weekly. We're a negative 15 on our success multiplier formula. That little formula there, that little number tells us how strong the overall wave is, all three of them together. Now, when we go to the Qs, so we don't have a trade now, we're just waiting out what's going to happen next. Now, on the Qs, you can see that we also closed that trade out. Nice thing was we captured it right before it popped back up, and that was beautiful, down 5.03%. I actually played this one on PSQ, which is the inverse fund. And again, remember, the inverse funds track the underlying asset, which is the Qs for this one, the Nasdaq 100, in opposite fashion. So when the Qs goes down 1%, the inverse fund goes up 1%. So again, I went in and captured right at that 5%. So that was a sweet trade. And of course, up for the day, 2.50%. So wait for things to turn back around and head back down so we can jump back in. Again, still below the 200. Also a negative 15 on the success multiplier formula because the 2-day and the weekly are also down. Let's move on to 20-year bonds. 20-year bonds kicking up a little bit too after some down movement. We did not have this last one work out as well for us as we had hoped. I think we only made 0.43% as you can see there. Things did move down, got close to our 2.67%, double our average true range, but just didn't quite do it, popped back up. We went ahead and pulled that trade. We could have stayed in. Of course, we did have green candles, but the STC stayed negative just out of an abundance of caution with the way markets are swinging around. I didn't stay in. So again, only made 0.43%, but that's okay. Ain't going to be greedy. It rolled back around and headed down. We'll wait for another better opportunity to jump back in. But that, of course, we see things kicking up over the course of the day, 1.87%. Now, the 2-day on 20-year bonds has just turned over. We talked about that yesterday. And of course, the weekly has been negative for quite a while. We are under the 200 EMA on all three of the charts. So that is where we are on 20-year bonds. Now we'll go to gold. Gold up for the day 1.31%. You can see where gold really spiked up and down in the afternoon. We had jumped into a down gold trade, and what did it do on us? Well, in the morning, it popped up. So we pulled that. We did not make that trade work. Again, they don't all work. What did we learn as we tracked over the last 2 months for April and May? We saw that 2 out of 3 trades worked on gold. We did have success. Of course, our biggest success was the 7+% on the Nasdaq 100. And we'll continue to track and see how things go. But again, if you're not jumping in and risking it, you don't expect to win all of them. You give it a try. I guess we lost about 0.25% there, maybe, not much, and pulled that trade in the morning, and that's fine. We're not getting greedy. We're not being stupid. My friends, if you will just limit your losses, pull the trades when they don't work, and ride the ones out that do, you will win over and over and over again in the aggregate. The thing that people can't do is they can't cut their losses, and that is what kills people in the market. It's what separates the winners from the losers. Now, we're still negative on the STC. That is on the half-day chart. We're negative on the 2-day chart on gold, and we're negative on the weekly. You noticed on the 2-day we were above that 200 EMA. You'll see we're well above it on the weekly also. So gold, again, we're waiting for gold to take off. It's not yet. I think there's still just massive decoupling. People are covering their shorts. The way the market's been hammering down. At some point, though, when the dollar starts to lose some of its value across the board, because the dollar's strong related to all the other currencies, once that starts happening, I think we will start seeing gold really take off. But we'll wait and see. I don't have to explain what's going to happen. I don't have to understand what's actually happening. I just have to be able to follow the charts. That's all you got to do. You don't have to be some super economist and know everything that's happening. You just have to watch the charts and follow what they're telling you. Now, lastly, we will go back to the half day, the 195-minute chart. And remember, we use 195 minutes. Why? Because that's truly a half day in the market. The market opens at 9:30, closes at 4. So it's not 4 hours. It's 195 minutes. That's why we use it, and it's a great chart. Let's look at XBTF. What is that? That is the ETF, the VanEck Future Bitcoin ETF. It's a short-term future, and it tracks the price pretty well. The thing I like about it, it is liquid. You can buy it on any stock exchange, any broker, and you don't have to go to these online crypto exchanges, some of which have been having some problems. So, and again, this is the SEC. This is an ETF that's traded. So what's going on with it? You can see where it's still hammering down 2.37% for the day. Tough, well below the 200 EMA. We saw where Bitcoin was sliding around for a while, and now it's really taken off down. I hope that will straighten out. This movement will help straighten out the STC, because the STC got sloppy because Bitcoin just wasn't moving. It was just sliding sideways for such a long amount of time. What do we see on the 2-day? Of course, just pounding down on Bitcoin. It is -2. And of course, the weekly, where are we there? Look at this week, just a hammer down week. Started the week off of 20-something% down, and it's just continued to move down. So lots of downward pressure on Bitcoin. My friends, at some point, it'll bottom, it'll sort out, and we'll wait and watch. And when it turns around, we'll be ready when our charts tell us to jump back in. But until then, no. Until then, no. That's it for the day. I so appreciate you being with us. We'll be working on recording the charting crypto for you tonight for our Patreon members. And we'll, again, be with you tomorrow and the next day as we are constantly. We so appreciate you being with us. We love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. If you appreciate what we do, how about sharing our website, sharing our YouTube channel with everyone you know, and supporting us as a Patreon supporter. Thanks so much, my friends. God bless from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.